A very warm good evening to you. Welcome to Hathern's Big Winter Quiz. You join me here in our top secret Hathern location. Yes, you didn't know that there was a countdown studio in Hathern, but have a think about it. The village hall's been shut a while, hasn't it? I jest, I'm in my fictional green screen location. My name's Martin Clayton, as you just saw there. I am your quiz master for this evening. Now, normally Hathern's Big Quiz is very much a event that we would have on the park with Hathern Village Association. You may have attended one of our events at Hathern's Big Week. You may have even attended the Wicked Hathern Fest fundraiser that we did last November as well. Now, this is the first time we've been able to bring this quiz out because it's taken since then to design this background. It's definitely been a long haul, but we have been able to bring this to you here tonight. So, the big quiz. 50 questions, 5 rounds, 1 winner. I lie, there's actually 2. We've got 2 prizes on offer tonight, and I'm not going to say what they are because I don't want to encourage people to be using Google. There's a lot of honesty required tonight. But we will have a prize for best team name, and we will have a prize for highest score. Apparently that's how quizzes tend to work. Now, all you need to do is play the quiz normally, answer your own marks, and then at the end of the answers we will give you a phone number that you need to text your team name and your score to. Honesty is the best policy, because if anybody gets 51 then we know that something's gone wrong. There will be some questions about Christmas. There will be some general knowledge questions. But I'm pleased to tell you, for our guests that are a bit further afield, there is only 1 question tonight on Hathern. Now, I already knew before this quiz that we were going to have people from Northampton, people from Norfolk, and people from Devon. Now, don't hold that against them. I know the greater good. We are a lovely little village. But if you've come from even further away from there, then let us know in the YouTube comments below. That'd be great to see. We can't see them because we're live on a green screen, but the rest of the world can, and that makes us feel a little bit better. So I think that's probably enough sort of rambling for me. Hopefully you've all found the login. A couple of housekeeping things I must mention. This is the first ever time that we've done this. It's taken quite a lot of preparation, but we are now at the mercies of software and YouTube. Now, if the stream does go down, your YouTube page should just buffer until we return. Now, hopefully that won't happen mid-question, but if it does, don't worry. We will know that it's happened and we will reappear. So the bottom line is, if something happens and you lose connection with us, stay there. We will come to you. Beyond that, we're not expecting any major technical issues, but obviously the important thing about this is that the questions will come up on the screen as we go. I'm going to read out every question, but every question will also come up on the screen. And then, like I say, we will mark them. We will find an honest winner. And the most important thing about tonight, I remembered to color code my jacket. So I think that's a really good time to probably move on. So if you've been to some of our quizzes before, some of these rounds may seem a little familiar, but don't worry, we will mix it up. Where is a better place to start than round 1? Now, what could round 1 possibly be in a quiz at the end of the year? The year that was 2020. We're going to ask you 10 questions about the year 2020. Now, I know what you're all thinking. There's only been one thing that's happened this year. You're absolutely wrong. Coke discontinued my favourite variety, and that was gutting for me. That's not a question, but it's okay. We will carry on regardless. 10 questions, some of them hopefully not COVID related. We're going to leave the questions on at a nice steady stroll, because we appreciate there'll be some of you here that may be talking to your teammates through Zoom or through House Party. Hi, Mum. So we will make sure that we give you lots of time. But I think that's a really good place to kick off the big quiz 2020 with round 1, the year that was. What can I say? I've got some great tech behind me. So let's kick off with question 1 of the big quiz. So question 1, which country legend known for Island in the Stream and The Gambler died in March 2020? That's Which country legend known for Island in the Stream and The Gambler died in March 2020? Kicking off the Big Quiz 2020 with a positive message. Okay, moving on to question 2. Who did Rishi Sunak replace as Chancellor of the Exchequer only earlier this year? Question 2. Who did Rishi Sunak replace as Chancellor of the Exchequer earlier this year? Hard to believe he's only been there for less than 12 months. Okay, and into question 3. Sorry about this. What date did the UK go into lockdown 1? What date did the UK go into lockdown 1? Moving on to question 4. Which town was Dominic Cummings driving to test his eyesight after being infected with coronavirus? That was question 4. Which town was Dominic Cummings driving to test his eyesight after being infected with coronavirus? This could well be our last coronavirus mention of the quiz. I've forgotten and I wrote the questions. Moving on to question number 5. What is the name of the Netflix documentary about Joe Exotic? What is the name of the Netflix documentary about Joe Exotic? One of the big shows of 2020. Moving on to question number 6. In which China... Oh, there's another coronavirus question. Who wrote this quiz? In which Chinese city did the coronavirus start? That was question 6. In which Chinese city did the coronavirus start in? Moving on to question 7. Which film won Best Picture at the Oscars? Now, it's hard to believe that we actually got an awards ceremony, but we did in February. Which film won Best Picture at the Oscars? Moving on to question 8. Which private company became the first to launch a rocket into space? That's which private company became the first to launch a rocket into space? Well, you got a sneak peek. What more do you want? We're going for 1 technical hitch per round. Any more than that, and you all get your money back. So question 8, just a reminder there. Which private company became the first to launch a rocket into space? And you've already had a sneak peek, but question 9. Boris Johnson and Carrie Symonds welcomed a new baby son on April 29th. What is his name? That is, Boris Johnson and Carrie Symonds welcomed a new baby son on April 29th. But what is his first name? Oh, that's funny. We seem to have an incoming call. Let's just pick that up there. Yep, come in, caller. Oh, hi, Tony Croft.
Are you busy?
Yeah, I am actually. I'm in the middle of hosting the Hathern's Big Winter Quiz. What? You look very festive for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just sitting here waiting for you.
Brilliant. I'm really glad that our GCSE drama qualifications there really paid off at the beginning there, Tony. Tony, it's really good to hear from you actually, because part of the Hathern Together Big Quiz was we were really hoping we'd get some calls from regulars within the village that are part of the community organisations that might be able to just give us a little bit of a backstory to how 2020's been, and obviously how 2021 will aim to be better. So I'm really pleased that you've arrived here. There is just one small problem, Tony, and that is that I haven't asked question 10 yet. In fact, would you mind asking question 10 for me?
Pleasure.
Go for it.
I think this is one of the worst ones on there. It's a very tricky one. Which self-styled spiritual medium and television personality passed away on January the 3rd? Which self-styled spiritual medium and television personality passed away on January the 3rd?
Well, I think you probably asked one of the hardest ones there, Tony. So you picked your moments to come on. They're brilliant. Well, that's the end of round one, the year that was. But actually, Tony, while I've got you here, it's probably worth, we can have a quick chat about sort of how your year's been, and give people a chance to recharge their glasses as well. Now, people who are from Hathern may well recognise Tony, whether it be from his community groups or from obviously walking around the village with the dogs as well. So I'm sure many people will recognise the face, and obviously love the hat you're wearing as well. But Tony, what people probably don't know, because obviously the names behind the pages sort of get lost, but you were really key in getting this Winter in Hathern series of events together through the Hathern Together campaign. But how did it all come about?
It was really through all the cancellations we've had of all the things that we would normally have done. Sort of, all the groups weren't meeting, and we weren't able to do what we should be doing. The big week didn't happen, and then we're running up to Christmas, and there's all the things that go on around there with the Christmas tree festival, and they're all important parts of what the village and the Hathern Together, and all the groups and everybody always mucking together and take part in these things. And it was just such a shame that we just couldn't get together in that way. And I know we've had, with the technology that we're using tonight, in fact, I mean, Zoom has been an absolute godsend in trying to keep some of the things together. The WI, for instance, have been meeting regularly on Zoom, and we've even got people onto Zoom who we were just never thought of using it previously, or onto other sort of media that's available. We also did, when we were doing the Christmas tree festival, there was people who were really technophobic, and we managed to get 2 of them onto the Christmas tree festival thing that we've done as part of the winter events. And then it was, and when you, Ben, and I were talking, trying to come up with ideas of things that we could do, that we could share out to the communities too, and not just to Hathern, but to other places, to cheer people up, and fitting the Advent windows in there and putting those up, and not only that, people walking round and being able to socially distance and actually go and get out and see these things, but then also being able to, because you've done a sterling job on going around and filming all the windows so that people who can't get out can actually see them online. And I think that's quite, it's quite an impressive thing that we've done in that way. And I think the group, all the groups deserve credit for trying to overcome the social aspects of what COVID's done to us in forcing us apart. And I think that's all brought us back together again. Yeah. So we've tried to maintain that spirit. That's really what I think we've been doing. And I think this is the culmination of it. And the big quiz is a great idea.
Brilliant. Well, I don't think I could have put that better myself, to be honest. And you've hit on some really good points there, because you've mentioned the Christmas Tree Festival documentary, and I know we had a Zoom version of Scrooge as well last weekend. They are actually all accessible on this very YouTube channel that you're on now. So if you are joining the quiz tonight, make sure you like and subscribe this page. But Tony, one of the things that we have managed to put together, because the Advent windows obviously do run up to the 24th, but all of them are open now, we actually have a sneak peek of all 24 windows coming up later in the quiz, when we are waiting for people to text in their answers. So I'm really glad we managed to get that in. But I suppose then, Tony, it really means, in terms of you and your groups and Hathern Together as well, what does the outlook look like for 2021? What are we hoping that we can do?
Who knows? I mean, hopefully with the immunisations that are going on, that'll help. But with all this news tonight, has made it even worse. But nobody knows what it's going to do and where it's going to go, and I think we've just got to make the best of it. And it's just the way things are. Who knows what 2021 will bring? Hopefully, we'll be able to get back to some degree of normality. But it is what it is. I think you have to be a little bit fatalistic in that sense. But we've just got to wait and see what happens, and hopefully it will come under control, and the immunisations will help to break the cycle. And I think that's all you can do, and just plan that we're going to do more on technology until such time as things free up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll probably find a lot more of these sort of virtual events. Well, Tony, I can see that we're ready for round 2, so I'm going to thank you so much for popping on. Thank you for calling in. It was a very apt timing there, and hopefully you'll stay on and play the rest of the quiz with us as well.
We will. We're sharing with our kids in Sheffield, so you've got people in Loxley involved as well. So
Loxley, okay. So we've got Sheffield, we've got Northampton, we've got Devon. I am getting strong rumours that we might have a couple from one of the, well, from Scandinavia as well. So if anybody's joining from America or Australia, we would love to hear from you. Aussie Ben, that doesn't count. Brill, right, well, thank you very much, Tony.
Happy
It's great to
Christmas
see you.
everybody.
Thanks, Tony.
Cheers, Martin. Good night.
Brill. Well, wasn't that great? We had a really nice little phone call there, and I'm sure, I'm positive that we won't have any more of those. Who could possibly break into our quiz again? Anyway, I think that's probably given you all enough of a break if you've gone to recharge your glasses. So we've had 10 questions. Why don't we have 10 different type of questions? Now, what could you follow 10 questions with that would be a bit more interactive? Oh, yes. Now, we may not be able to put sheets of paper on your table for you to scour over during the break, and there's one simple reason for that. There is no break. But what we're going to do is give you a picture round that we think will be a little bit quicker. Now, we're going to show you 10 logos, okay, from businesses or brands. Now, these logos have been either zoomed into, edited, bits removed, and all we need you to do is tell us which brand or company they are. I feel like people will either know this or not, so it's not ones that you need to dwell over. But we're going to put these pictures on the screen rather rapidly, so please maybe do a little drawing if you think you might need a little bit longer. See how many art students we've got in. But let's go and see round 2. So, 10 pictures are about to come up on your screen one by one. Don't worry, I'll give you a little bit of a gap in between. So, for the first one, I'd like to ask you... Oh, let me start again. I would like you to tell me which logo this is from. Let's just build those blocks. Ah, interesting. Which logo has a big yellow O in it? You see, we're not going to give you loads and loads of time. You've got to be really quick on it. Did anyone manage to sketch that O nice and quickly? Or take a photo and check it on Google? Don't do that. Right, here we go. Picture number 2. What have we got here then? Ah, I think something might be missing out of the middle. Interesting. They're harder than you think, aren't they? I mean, not for us. We've seen them about 6 times during tech rehearsals, but I imagine they are for most others. Picture number 3, please. I don't think that's the full word, is it? Tricky. Okay. Let's move on. Picture number 4. Oh, I think that's one of the hardest ones of the quiz. Oh, it just feels like you want more time, doesn't it? That's the problem with quizzes. Okay, next picture, please. Interesting. Okay, no further ado. Next picture, please. That was a lovely little man. So I make that picture number 6. I'll just give you a couple of seconds to talk about those 6, and then I'll introduce the next one in a second. But we thought it's always difficult doing a picture round over the internet because you can't keep the pictures for the break, but we thought this might be the easiest way to give you something nice and simple. So with that, picture number 7, please. Interesting. It's not a very bright colour, is it? Tough one, that. Tough one. There's not much detail in that, although, I mean, what could that have been part of? So infuriating. Picture number 8, please. We had to buy a lot of Lego for this. Not much detail there. Interesting. Interesting. I think the only way to follow up a logo with all of the detail taken out is to give you another logo with all of the detail taken out. Number 9, please. Huh. Pretty much all the detail then. Okay, number 9. Now, you all thought that my phone was going to ring again, didn't you? Well, it's not, because that was completely, as you can tell, unscripted, much like my completely unscripted studio. So with that, picture number 10, please. Well, there we go. That was all 10 pictures. And in the interest of time and efficiency, we're not showing them again. So I hope you did draw them down. Now, that may come as a shock to some of our resident players. I'm sure Jan and Bill, who joined the Needle and Pin Sunday night quiz, will be very annoyed I haven't posted that to Facebook. So I do send my apologies. But while I'm on the subject of them, as we get to the end of the round and give you a bit of time to discuss your answers, I just thought we'd have a quick chat about some of the groups and businesses that have supported us during this one. Now, I know that a couple of you did sign up to the Needle and Pins offer. So the Needle and Pin are a micropub in Loughborough. They have not been able to open during Tier 3, and they weren't even really able to open during Tier 2. The problem with a micropub and families not being able to mix, households not being able to mix, is that that really doesn't leave you a lot of space. So in March, when the first lockdown hit, they took the initiative to go straight to home delivery, as did a lot of pubs in Loughborough. And the Needle and Pin have been supplying residents of pretty much the whole of Charnwood with some very bespoke beers, lagers, ciders, ales, and spirits and wine as well. And in fact, did a lovely wine tasting virtual event the other day. Now, the reason I mention that is because they put this deal together for us for the quiz tonight that we posted on our Hathern Together Facebook page, where they put together a mix of ciders, beers, ales, depending on which one you wanted to do. So we're really grateful for them to doing that. And the other one I want to mention as well that we did post on our page was the fantastic team at Pick and Platter. Now, Pick and Platter are a new business that started up during the lockdown in Hathern. And the owners there using their initiative to go into something a little bit different during troubling times. Now, Pick and Platter are also one of our prize providers tonight. That's giving away a little bit of a clue. Make sure you check out their Facebook page as well. They are based in the centre of Hathern and have that all-important 5-star safety rating. Hang on, that's cars, isn't it? 5-star environmental health rating. I think that's enough waffling on from me, so I think we should probably have a little gaze into a round that I think we all have experience of. You have all had this. Food and drink. I myself, every day. Love it. It's a great stuff, you can tell. So, food and drink, we're going to ask you 10 more conventional questions now about food and drink. And, well, as the name probably suggests, there's going to be a mix of the two. Hopefully that makes more sense. But there'll be 10 questions. So let's go and visit the round of food and drink. Okay, let me open my snazzy microwave. Bought this on eBay. Didn't cost me too much. Let's see whether the first question allows us to use it. So, question 1. So, question 1. What does IPA stand for? So remember, this is in food and drink. In question 1, what does IPA stand for? Okay, moving swiftly on to question 2. Now, it's just finished for this year, but which year did the Great British Bake Off appear on our screens? So question 2. Which year did the Great British Bake Off appear on our screens? Okay, moving on to question 3. If you ordered nigiri from a Japanese menu, what would you be served? So, if you ordered nigiri from a Japanese menu, what would you be served? And moving into question 4. Eccles cakes come from which UK county? So question 4. Eccles cakes come from which UK county? Question number 5. What is sold at Billingsgate Market in London? So question 5. What is sold at Billingsgate Market in London? Moving on to question number 6. As of 2013, which country is the largest producer of tea? The answer is not John Smith Morehouse, but as of 2013, which country is the largest producer of tea? Actually, John would be a consumer, so that was a terrible joke. Moving on to question number 7 in food and drink. Which classic British dish is this an anagram of? The anagram being hot toe inhaled. Feels like we're playing the countdown conundrum. Which classic British dish is this an anagram of? Hot toe inhaled. Write it down. I'll leave it on the screens for a little while. Okay, hope you've got it all written down. Question number 8. The wine region of Marlborough produces almost 3/4 of which country's wine? So that was question 8. The wine region of Marlborough produces almost 3/4 of which country's wine? Okay, question 9. What is the main ingredient of the German Blutwurst? That's question 9. What is the main ingredient of the German Blutwurst? I apologise for my mispronunciation. Not again. How can this possibly be? We've got a caller on the line. Come in, caller. Oh, it's Gail from the Hathern WI. Hi there, Gail.
Hello, Martin. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Wow, we're competing on the festive stakes here. Not just the hat. We've got the tinsel. We've got the tree. Brilliant.
We try.
You're looking very festive. So, Gail, thank you for joining us. What a very apt round that the Hathern WI should show up in the food and drink round. I cast no aspersions, but I'm sure that you've had many sort of cocktail making courses and things like that throughout the years as well. But how are you anyway? Are you okay? Are you all good?
I am, yes, thank you.
Good. Gail, you've caught me at a really good time because actually I was just about to ask question 10 of the food and drink round, and I'm not going to lie, there's so many big words in there that I'm a little bit scared. So perhaps I could pass all of that responsibility on to you, if that's okay, Gail.
I'll do my best.
Here we go. Fire away.
A Magnum holds 2 standard bottles of champagne. A Rehoboam holds 6. But how many bottles of champagne is in a Nebuchadnezzar? So a Magnum holds 2 standard bottles of champagne. A Rehoboam holds 6. But how many bottles of champagne in a Nebuchadnezzar?
Wow. I'm very impressed with every single pronunciation there, because I got as far as champagne and got lost. So that is Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Gail. So we'll give people a couple of minutes to just sort of talk through their answers there. But while they're doing that, Gail, it's a really, really great time. Really good coincidence, actually, you logged on during that, because Tony, in round one, was actually talking about village groups and clubs that had managed to improvise during 2020. And what has that been like for the WI? How have you adapted?
Well, we started straight away after lockdown with phone calls and letters and emails. And then we gradually plucked up courage and had a go at Zoom. And it worked very well. And some of our members are really very enthusiastic. Others a little more dubious, but a lot of them are having the go and joining us. So we have a couple of meetings a month on Zoom, one with a speaker and one just to chat and maybe do a quiz. And they're all working out really, really well.
Oh, that's really good to hear. And I know from talking to you in the past, you've had, I use that cocktail making one as a really good example, but it sounds like you've had some really interesting sort of speakers. And I'm, of course, absolutely not biased to the speaker you had earlier in the year. But in terms of the WI, in terms of the WI and, obviously joining a club or a group during sort of a time like this is probably quite difficult, but are you still operating in terms of open to new members, and do you envisage that you'll probably be continuing in this way for a little bit of 2021 as well? Or
I think particularly after the information that came from the Prime Minister today, we're going to be continuing in this way for some little time, unfortunately. I know a lot of our members would dearly love to meet up again, particularly those living alone or not able to access the internet. But we'll keep going on Zoom as long as we need to, but be ready to meet up actually as soon as we can. And yes, we are actively encouraging new members, and we do have a special offer at the moment. If any lady over the age of 18 would like to join us, then we have a special offer that takes us right through to April of just £10.75. And that would give 4 meetings with speakers, 3 of our coffee mornings, plus 2 magazines a month, and loads of quizzes and other information.
well, that's a nice sales pitch, and I think it's a really important bit you said there, because Hathern WI is quite lucky in that you seem to have an absolutely brilliant sort of breadth of different people, different age ranges, different careers. It is important to recognise that the WI is not a club that you have to be a certain age for. You can join from the age of 18, so that's absolutely brilliant. But in terms of when you go back to meeting sort of in the flesh, then where do you normally meet?
Well, we normally meet in the village hall on Dovecot Street on the 3rd Monday of the month at 7:30 in the evening.
Brilliant, that's good
But
to
we
hear.
have lots of coffee mornings and lunch clubs and things like that as well. So there's always lots going on.
Brilliant. Well, that's really great to hear, and that was really great time for you to call into us, Gail, completely unscripted, of course. Once again, we're putting our drama qualifications to the highest degree. I will say, Gail, just to top off your bit you said there about joining the WA, anyone that's on this call today, probably the easiest way to do it is to contact you. And I know for a fact that on the Hathern Together website, hathernonline.co.uk, under the community groups, there are the full details for Hathern WI. Would that perhaps be the best way for people to get in touch if they wish to get involved, Gail?
That would definitely be the best way, either by ringing me or by contacting me through my email address. And our next meeting's on Monday, so do it nice and quickly, and you can join us for another cocktail making demonstration and a talk on Santa Claus and all things Christmas.
Well, what about that? No finer offer. So brilliant. Well, Gail, thank you so much for ringing in, and what a great way to top off round 3 there. So thank you very much for logging in, Gail, and we'll see you soon.
Will do, Martin. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Brilliant. Isn't it great when you get 2 sporadic calls completely off the cuff? That was really great. So as Gail said there, if you are interested in looking at community groups, whether it be the WI or whether it be one of our other groups that are still persevering and operating through 2020 and into 21, most likely digitally, then you can of course go to hathernonline.co.uk and find out more information there. If you are one of our quizzers calling in from Devon, it's a bit of a way to commute when they go back to normal meetings, but it might be worth a try for Cocktail and Santa Claus. Right, so that was absolutely fantastic. But I feel like so far we've not really managed to bring enough festive cheer. What with all the news going on in the world at the moment, it would seem only correct that we dedicate the next round to something that is definitely happening next week. Christmas. And that's it. That's as festive as we get. Good night. No, I'm joking. We have a whole round on Christmas, as shown there by my festive baubles. So we're going to ask you 10 questions about Christmas and all things cheerful. I haven't really got much more to say on it than that, so I think it's probably a good time to say, let's step into Christmas. Brilliant. Okay, so we have there on our festive scroll question number 1. So question 1. Which company has for years used the "Holidays Are Coming" slogan to advertise its brand? Which company has for years used "The Holidays Are Coming" to advertise its brand? Okay, moving into question number 2. Alphabetically, which of Santa's reindeer comes first? Alphabetically, which of Santa's reindeer comes first? Okay, moving swiftly on to question number 3. Who wrote "Do They Know It's Christmas"? So that's question number 3. Who wrote, or should I say whom? Who wrote "Do They Know It's Christmas"? Moving into question number 4. In the novel A Christmas Carol, which is the first ghost to visit Scrooge? That in the novel A Christmas Carol, which is the first ghost to visit Scrooge? Oh, we've had that one. Let's try that again. Just giving you a bit more time on that one. Question 5. Which famous scientist who developed the 3 laws of motion was born on Christmas Day 1642? Question 5. Which famous scientist who developed the 3 laws of motion was born on Christmas Day 1642? Question number 6. How many drummers drummed? Nice and simple. Question number 6. How many drummers drummed? And question number 7. What is the name of the elf played by Will Ferrell in the film of the same name? I'll say that properly. Question 7. What is the name of the elf played by Will Ferrell in the film of the same name? Question number 8 then. Walking in the Air is taken from which Christmas film? That's question 8. Walking in the Air is taken from which Christmas film? And moving on to question number 9. Which country presents Britain with a Christmas tree each year? That's question number 9. Which country presents Britain with a Christmas tree each year? Okay. I don't believe it. Not again. How could this possibly happen 3 times? Who's on the line there, caller? Ho, ho, ho! It's Dave Neville. Hi, Dave.
Hello there.
Oh, Dave, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good, good. Dave, what a really...
I'm really fine, Martin.
Oh, someone's in the festive spirit. And we've got another tree as well. I'm really pleased about that. But Dave, you've actually joined at a really good time, because obviously we all know that in Hathern, you are part of Hathern Band, and we'll speak about that shortly as well. But we also know that you're the most festive person in the village. So this is definitely a really good time to talk to you. Now, Dave, I know why you've come on, because I know that you wanted to ask a very specific Christmas question related to something happening. But what I will do is I will just warn all of our quizzers that are not from this area. I did warn you there was one Hathern question, but you can still take a bloomin' good guess. Dave, I don't suppose you'd like to ask question 10 for me, would you?
Certainly.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hathern Band is the oldest brass band in the Midlands, but in what year was it formed? And I think we're going to give you 5 years either way.
I think that
Hathern
sounds
Band
fair.
is the oldest brass band in the Midlands. What year was it formed?
And I think you're right there, Dave. Let's go 5 either side, give people a bit of a chance there. But Dave, obviously people are probably thinking now, well, why in a festive round are we talking about Hathern Band? And I believe there's something coming up tomorrow you'd like to talk to us about.
Yes, actually, tonight would have been the night of our grand Christmas concert, which takes place at the Hodgson Hall over at Loughborough Grammar School. A great event. All the players in the band play, right down to the youngsters, right up to the oldest members. And of course, that hasn't taken place. And people will probably know that normally we're round the streets playing Christmas music and carols and collecting for the band finances, mainly for buying instruments for youngsters. And of course, that hasn't taken place this year. But what we are doing tomorrow, we've got 3 separate groups of 6 players playing in Hathern between 11 and 1 o'clock tomorrow. And 6 will be at the Cross, 6 will be at the Jubilee Tree at the top of White Street, and 6 will be at Shepshed Road. So if you are able to come out, we will have our collecting buckets there if you're feeling generous and would like to support the band. But just to get a bit of Christmas spirit and hear a few carols and Christmas tunes, and hopefully it will be at least something. It'll be our first engagement since the lockdown began.
Wow. Oh, wow. So it's been a good while then. But so Dave, what if obviously people can go and go and watch the band on their daily exercise, obviously in their sort of socially distanced groups. What if people are still shielding indoors? Is there a way that people could perhaps watch it through the means of technology, for example?
Yes, through the means of the technology. And I would love to claim credit for all of this, but unfortunately not. But it is being, or parts of the performances at each of the locations is going to be broadcast on the Hathern Together Facebook page, courtesy of your good self, Martin. Thank you very much for that.
I promise it wasn't a self-plug, but I think it's really important if people can't make it, they can still watch it.
Yes, that's right.
And Dave, you mentioned there about, obviously, it's been a tough year with no engagements. I think a lot of people don't realise sort of how that affects in terms of Hathern Band obviously isn't just one brass band. There are many sort of strings to its bow. And you mentioned there about
strings to a bow is another part of the orchestra, Martin.
Darn it. We know that there are lots of reeds to the tube. I don't know any woodwind instruments. I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing. What I was trying to say, Dave, was...
Particularly as a musician.
Well, that's debatable as well, Dave. What I did want to ask was, you mentioned there about buying instruments for kids and that sort of side of things. Could you just tell me sort of what that involves and what in a normal year Hathern Band does in terms of music tuition for young children?
Yeah, just very quickly, Hathern Band is really 4 bands. It's the main senior band, which is a competing band in the second section. It's graded a bit like football is graded into different leagues. And for a little village band, it's quite amazing that it's such a high rating, high quality. The second band, another band, is just for anybody who wants to play. So normally you'd have 3 trombones in a brass band, but if we had 15 trombone players come along to the concert brass band, they can all play. The other 2 bands are for the youngsters. We have a youth band, and then we have a training band where children, as young as 6, I would say, learn instruments and play in the training band. And one of the great things about Hathern Band, it's very difficult now to get music tuition without having to pay quite a bit of money, and music tuition in schools has gone down. At Hathern Band, any youngster that wants to come along and learn is very welcome, brass or percussion, and the instruments are free to borrow. All the tuition is free, and it's quite unique, really. not just Hathern Band, but other brass bands as well, offering this service to allow children to have the opportunity to learn music.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's a really valid point, and I think not enough people know about it, so it's good to get that message out there. Dave, all being well in 2021, and I know the news isn't always positive, but what is the hope for Hathern Band and what they plan to do in 2021?
Well, I think at all levels and with all bands, and not just brass bands, I think all players want to get back to where they were, and that's not going to happen overnight. I mentioned our training band. Our youngsters have particularly suffered because they haven't had the tuition. And, it's difficult to keep youngsters on practice all of the time if they're not regularly going to band. But what we hope to do is to get back as quickly as possible, consolidate the structure. One of the things that we are doing in 2021, and another reason why we are keen to get more money, is to extend the band room for a third time. And the reason we're having to do that, wanting to do that, is to give us a completely new practice and learning space, because we have so many youngsters now who want to play. We've probably got about 40 youngsters. And at the moment, it's like sardines in a can. They couldn't possibly have any social distancing at all, the way it is in the band room. So that the groundwork has started for that. If anyone doesn't know, the club Hathern Band premises are in the football ground next to the football changing rooms. So we're extending that out, and groundwork started, and hopefully 2021 we'll have a brand new extension.
Well, that sounds like a very good target for 2021. So, Dave, I'm really grateful that you came on to talk about that and give the non-Hathern quizzers a bit of trouble with a question there. So that's absolutely great.
They're
really
probably the ones who'll get it right.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on and asking that, Dave.
Yeah.
And we'll just clarify. We will just clarify Hathern Together Facebook page tomorrow between 11 and 1. But even better, you can find them at the Cross, at Shepshed Road, or at the Jubilee Tree on Wide Street as well between 11 and 1.
On the Cross.
The Cross, yep, absolutely. Brilliant. Dave, thank you so much.
Merry Christmas to everyone, and
Thank
hope for a better 2021.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dave. I'll let you get back to your drink. There we go. Dave Neville there. Dave, up until about 18 months ago, was a parish councillor in Hathern as well, and has spent a lot of time helping Hathern Band in terms of marketing and getting the name out there as well, because it is a very high-profile band in the grand scheme of things. But unless I suppose you listen to sort of the brass band music and then the ongoings with it, you might not know that. So well worth going and having a watch between 11 and 1 at the Cross, Shepshed Road, or the Jubilee Tree tomorrow. Speaking of music, I think a lot of you might know that at the big quiz, I always like round 5 to be one of my favourite things, the music round. This year, we're going to spin it up a little. Nope, I lied. We're doing the music round again. As Dave mentioned there, some people accuse me of being a musician. Others accuse me of being a riot, and not in the good way. Bleeding eardrums. But anyway, we are going to do a music round as per normal, but this year we've got a little Christmas twist on it as well. So we're going to stick with the festive theme for the final 10 questions. And these 10 questions have been split into two chunks of 5. So the first 5 questions, now they're all varying lengths, but we will play the entirety of the clips we have. The first 5 questions are the mashup questions. Now, a firm favourite from when we did this in November, in that literally just me liked them. Now, we're going to play you 2 songs put together. What I need to know for the first 5 questions is the 2 artists in the song. One will be a Christmas song, one will be a regular song. You get half a point for each artist, so if you only know one, still write it down anyway. Now, the final 5 questions is even simpler. I'm going to play you 5 Christmas songs backwards, and I want you to tell me exactly what they are, but I need the artist and the song title for the final 5 to get the point. Okay, no half points in the final 5. I'll explain that when we go through the answers and make sure that you know what to mark if you choose to listen to me. So without further ado, let's see what the music round has in store. Okay, so as I said, we're going to play you 10 clips in their entirety. Some are varying lengths. I know the first one's quite long, so I'm going to stand here awkwardly. But for question 1, I need you to tell me the 2 artists in this song. Oh, they're even longer when you're standing there listening to them again. Okay, let's have number 2.
I just wanna stay in the sun where I find. I know it's hard sometimes. Pieces of peace in the sun's peace of mind. I know it's hard sometimes. Yeah, I think about the end just way too much. But it's fun to fantasize on my enemies who wouldn't wish who I was. But it's fun to fantasize. I'm born.
There we go. Remember, I just want the 2 artists. I don't need to know the song titles for these ones. So, track number 3. There we go. Once again, the 2 artists from that track there. Okay, into track number 4. Ah, emotional. So I think a lot of people have got the Christmas song there, but can you get the song that corresponds with it? Okay, and the final mashup question is number 5.
We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. We jumped, never asking why. We kissed, I fell under your spell of love. No one could deny. Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you. I can't live a lie, running for my life. I will always want you.
There we go. I'll give you a couple of minutes before I go into number 6 to just have a discussion about those 5. Remember, I want the 2 artists on each of those. So I appreciate that there's a wide variety of music there. And hopefully you enjoyed the Christmas songs. Not heard many of them recently, apart from Everywhere. So that's been quite good. Okay, so the next 5 questions. Like I say, I am going to play you two. I'm going to play you 1 Christmas song backwards. And all you need to do is tell me what the song is. So, and remember, I need the artist and the song title for this. So, ready to have your ears broken? Here's song number 6.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, good luck with that, guys. Okay, have a little think about that one. Maybe if you've got enough time, listen to it and then reverse it in your head. Okay, let's listen to track number 7. Interesting. They're all a bit of a blur when they're backwards, aren't they? They just all got bells in and probably a drum or something. I say as a musician. Okay, track number 8. That was emotional. That was very emotional. Okay, let's have track number 9. Interesting. And to finish off, the final question of the Big Quiz 2020, the Big Winter Quiz 2020, question number 10. Somewhere within that, there was a song. I'm sure there was a song somewhere within that. That's it. That was all 50 questions of the Big Quiz 2020. So, we've asked all the questions. The obvious thing to do would be to go through the answers. And we will do exactly that very shortly. So, what we're going to propose now is that I need a wee. And to do that, I need to disappear off camera. So that's not the real reason, I promise. It just sounded funny in my head. What we're going to do now is have a short 5-minute interval where you can go and recharge your glasses. And we will be back to run through all the answers and then get the winner of the Big Quiz 2020. And we're back. I hope you enjoyed your comfort break there. I certainly did. Right, well, that was 50 questions that we've just had, and we are going to go through the answers very shortly. First of all, a couple of shout outs I've seen coming through on the channels. A big hello to Liam and Patrick down in Tooting. They've got the Camembert out, and of course are drowning their sorrows on the news of Tier 4. We hope you're okay down there, guys, and sending you lots of love down to Tooting as well. A big hello to the Spencer family, who are annoyed that I haven't got my gold jacket. I'm very sorry about that. And hello to Claire and Jude, who have been playing along in Northampton as well. Jude, a budding footballer, and I must admit, I think Jude, are you 7 or are you 8? Or either way, you're going to go big places. Watch out for him at Northampton Town. And then finally, of course, to the Zoom gang of Laura, Claire, Adam, Rosie, Alex, Steph, Soph. Hello to you all there, and some of you there as well. And big love to you guys as well. Right, well, just as that music round was ended, we were hoping we might be able to speak to an individual tonight who has done one stream already and then joins us for a second, but I wanted to just grab him for a very small amount of time. Hello, Ben. Are you there, Ben?
Literally only just walked through the door.
So what have you been doing?
I have been doing tonight with my theatre friends. I have been doing a Christmas concert called the Crooners at Christmas, which we've just finished live streaming. But yeah, that went really well, and you can still catch it if you want to. Visit the Town Hall website, search for Crooners, and you can still buy a ticket right up to 6 p.m. Monday night and watch us on catch up.
Amazing. So they just have to go to the Loughborough Town Hall website, yeah?
Yep.
Fantastic.
Easy as that. Buy a ticket and then you'll get a link and away you go.
Amazing. And I know you're going to be biased, but I presume it went okay?
Yeah. Well, I was on the edge of my seat through most of it because, we're used to doing live theatre and things. But as you know from what you've been doing tonight, the technology escapes me sometimes. So I'm just glad that all that went really well and we were able to get through it.
Brilliant. And of course, a big shout out to Andy Gursky at Aspect Studios, yes. One of our Hathern Fest bands as well, but has obviously helped you out there as well. I know you were streaming from his location tonight, so that's great. Ben, I felt it would be wrong if we had a big quiz and didn't at least have a quick conversation about how the year has been for one of the members of Hathern Together, Hathern Village Association. Ben, how's our year been?
Boring. Well, actually, not quite boring, because we did manage to do an entire 2-day virtual festival back in May. Was it May? It was May, wasn't it? Yeah. All the days and weeks have rolled into one, but that was really successful. We managed to stream to a lot of people. Again, another live event where technicalities could have gone really wrong, but they didn't. They were great. But yeah, it was really good to do that, and I would like to send my personal thanks to everybody that contributed or watched or did anything at all to do with the festival, because it was absolutely brilliant and it really cheered up a lot of people in the midst of that first lockdown.
Good. Couldn't have put it better. But of course, you know what question is going to come beyond that then. There wasn't a Hathern Fest 2020. Hathern Fest 2019 was attended by literally thousands of people. And we did have some issues with weather warnings. I think we were one of the only events that actually managed to continue on that day. But where does that leave Wicked Hathern and the future of the festival into 21?
Well, there was never going to be a festival in 2020. We did announce that at the back end of 2019, purely because of the financial difficulties that we were left in after the 2019 festival. So the aim of 2020 was to do fundraising to get us back up to speed so that we could carry on and bring the festival back. However, we've not been able to do that. So we are very sad to say that there will be no Hathern Fest in 2021 either. But there will be a Hathern Fest in 2022. We are putting things into motion as we speak for that, because 2022 will mark 10 years of Hathern Fest. The first one was in 2012. So yeah, we're really looking forward to getting back into it and getting into the swing of things and getting to really good bands. And we're gonna do it like almost the greatest hits of Wicked Hathern Fest. The 10th festival, 10 years of Wicked Hathern Fest. So that's what we're going to. But in 2021, we are going to be doing lots of fundraising. We're going to do Brig Week, hopefully. Even if social distancing is involved still by June, we will be doing Big Week. We will be running it maybe a little bit differently, but please come down and support us for that. And we do have some exciting news for August in place of the festival. We will be doing something else. Can't quite reveal what it is yet, but please keep the date in your diaries. It's that first weekend in August. We will be doing something very special.
Well, that sounds like a plan to me. And obviously, all of these things will presumably be in the Hathern Together brochure and guide and website and everything like that as well, so people can keep an eye on what's going on, Ben. But Brill. Well, look, I think that's probably a good place to wrap up and let people have some answers now. But I really appreciate you running from one stream to another, coming to see us.
What are you going to give them answers to? It's not going to be answers to COVID, is it?
We get through 4 guests and you're the one to bring up the terrible joke. Dave had alcohol and you're still the worst. Ben, it's been an absolute pleasure. One final thing I will plug on behalf of Ben, of course. Actually, very quickly, Ben, your local theatre stuff. Obviously, the singers that came forward today were from various theatre groups within Loughborough.
Yeah, they were.
Are they hoping to get back into some sort of normality in 21?
Yes, we're hoping to. Because of the way that amateur theatre works, it takes us up to anywhere between 4 and 6 months to rehearse a show. So it won't be anytime soon. I think the first one back is in September, which is one of the groups is doing Annie. But then the next thing that I'm in is in October. It's Betty Blue Eyes. It's a brilliant show. I'm playing the lead part. So please buy a ticket for that to support all of the theatre. And there's various other shows coming on. Our House, if you like a bit of madness, that's coming up. Shrek, the musical, is coming up. And there's some plays coming up as well by the festival players. Please check out Loughborough Town Hall website and support local theatre and also local businesses. Anything, we need your support now more than ever. Thank you.
Couldn't have put it better. And obviously keep an eye out for Ben's actual day job appearing in the Advent windows, window number 3. Ben, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for logging on. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you very soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
Thanks, Ben. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
And there was Ben. We always knew it would be quite tight with Ben. He was potentially going to come on during the music round and tie that all in. But as you heard, he has literally just done one show on to the next. So we're very grateful for that. Right, you've all been waiting very patiently. Should we do some answers? I think we should. Here we go. We're going to keep this nice and simple. Remember, judges' rule is final. So if I take us back to round 1, the year that was, and we're answering question 1. Question 1 was, which country legend known for Island in the Stream and The Gambler died in March 2020? It was, of course, Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers, Islands in the Stream. Anyone remember that comic relief one with the Gavin and Stacey crew? That was good fun. So, Kenny Rogers, question 1. Question 2, the answer to question 2. Who did Rishi Sunak replace as Chancellor of the Exchequer earlier this year? It was, of course, Mr. Sajid Javid. Weird to think that was in the same calendar year as we're in now. It feels so much further away. But then I suppose Mr. Sunak has had to be on TV quite a lot, unfortunately. So question 3, we asked you, what date did the UK go into lockdown 1.0? And it was, of course, way back in March, the 23rd of March. You need the exact date for the point, but the 23rd of March was the answer we were looking for there. Question number 4. Which town was Dominic Cummings driving to test his eyesight after being infected with coronavirus? It was, of course, Barnard Castle. Barnard Castle now had a Brewdog beer named after it. I'm sure that when we're allowed to go and visit places again, tourism will be rife there. So maybe that's a small mercy for an interesting move back earlier in the year. Question number 5. We asked you, what is the name of the Netflix documentary about Joe Exotic? Once again, feels so long ago that this suddenly went viral over the internet, but it was, of course, Tiger King. Not Tiger Roll, who won the Grand National in my quiz last year, but Tiger King. Weird to think that was this year as well. The hype seems to have died a little bit. Question 6. In which Chinese city did the coronavirus start? And that, of course, I'm afraid we probably do all know the answer. Wuhan. The Wuhan province. But Wuhan is the answer I'm looking for the mark. Question number 7. Way back in February, we had the Oscars, and we asked you which film won Best Picture in the Oscars. Believe it or not, it was an award ceremony that actually managed to happen, and it was a very small film at the time. Parasite. Bit of a horror one, that might not be your cup of tea, but it's genuinely a very good film. Question number 8. We asked you which private company became the first to launch a rocket into space. The answer to that, of course, was Mr. Elon Musk's SpaceX. SpaceX. They've had a few more launches since, some successful, some not quite so. And of course, he's got many plans in the pipeline as well. I haven't driven a Tesla myself yet, but I'm sure people will tell me whether they're good or not. Question number 9. We asked you to name Boris Johnson and Carrie Simons' new baby son. We wanted his first name, and his first name is, of course, Wilfred. Wilfred was the answer I was looking to. And finally, Tony came and asked us question number 10. A real stinker, that one. It was which self-styled spiritual medium and television personality passed away on January the 3rd. Way back at the beginning of the year. That was, of course, Derek Acora. Derek Acora from Most Haunted fame. And we did say self-styled. But he did unfortunately pass away at the beginning of the year. Okay, so that was the answers to question one, round 1, I should say. Moving very swiftly on into round 2. We're not going to beat around the bush with the answers. Let's just get them done. Round 2, we asked you to name that logo. The first one, of course, that yellow O on the blue background is, of course, nobody's favourite drink, Foster's. Apparently, Foster's this year is about to be introduced to the Australians for the first time in its history, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Number 2, we showed you a small swipe at the top and what looked surprisingly like, I would say, a hat at the bottom, but other people might say a hut. It was, of course, Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut was the logo for number 2. Now, number 3, we showed you a blue swirl with one letter left in there, that letter being an L. All you had to do was find the remaining letters to create Intel. That's Intel, the computer processor maker, amongst other things. You may recognize that logo from the front of your computer. Number 4, probably one of the hardest ones there, dependent on who you have in your team. I have a feeling that a certain demographic may know this more than others. But number 4 was, of course, Olay. That was Olay, and that was the image of the lady with the sweeping hair. Number 5, we showed you pretty much a red box with a couple of white thick lines in it. Number 5 is a popular fashion brand, although whether they count as fashion, I don't know. Maybe Liam and Patrick down in Tooting will now be shouting at me. It was North Face. North Face. Perfect. Okay, we then asked you for question number 6 to name that little green alien type figure that came up on the screen. That is, of course, the rival to the technology that we're using today to broadcast this to you. It was Android. That is the logo for the Android smartphone systems. So there we go. If you didn't know it, you've learnt something new today. Moving on to number 7, it was the birds in the nest. The birds in the nest there. 3 birds in the nest with the little sticks as well. I don't think these two really link. I'm sure someone will tell me how they do. But that was, of course, yours and mine's favourite chocolate provider, Nestle. And probably coffee provider. I've just presumed you all like Nestle. I obviously, as you can tell by my physique, I don't eat chocolate. Number 8, we showed you a red box again and said, fill that with words. And hopefully you did, whether they're the right ones we're about to see. But number 8 was Muller. We're looking for Muller. Found, of course, on their yogurts and also found at the dairies as well, more specifically. Muller dairies spotted all around the countryside. Number 9, we gave you pretty much the top outline of the logo, although I think it's a very familiar logo. Comes in 57 varieties. Of course, it is Heinz. Heinz. Don't worry about spelling. I'm not gonna criticize you for spelling, mainly because I can't see it. So just cross it out and write that if you've got Heinz in some shape or form. And then finally, question number 10. We asked you to name the green circle with the 3 lines going through it. It is, of course, yours and mine's favourite music streaming service, Spotify. Spotify. There we go. Those were the 10 picture round questions. Rapid picture round that was. But just to clarify, number 1 was Foster's. Number 2, Pizza Hut. Number 3, Intel. Number 4, Olay. 5, North Face. 6, Android. 7, Nestle. 8, Muller. 9, Heinz. And 10, Spotify. There we go. Moving swiftly on into the food and drink round. So we asked you first of all on the food and drink round, what does IPA stand for? Now, obviously, we showed that first question in our microwave. I would not advise microwaving this, but IPA stands for India Pale Ale or Indian Pale Ale, your choice. But India Pale Ale in some form of variety is what I was looking for there. Okay, number 2, we asked you, what year did the Great British Bake Off begin? Now, of course, the Great British Bake Off has just had its first lockdown series on Channel 4, after which there were a few specials celebrating 10 years on the screen. Therefore, the answer would quite possibly be 2010. So the Bake Off has been with us for a decade now. That's a lot of soggy bottoms, but 2010 was the year we were looking for. Now, question number 3. I'm going to have to be a bit creative with this one. But if you ordered nigiri from a Japanese menu, what would you be served? Now, I'm going to put the official definition on the screen here now. Okay, so a nigiri is a type of sushi featuring rice topped with fish or seafood. Basically, what I'm looking for is a seafood sushi or a fish sushi with rice. You're going to have to be honest here and work out whether you've got enough detail there to actually define nigiri rather than sushi, but I'm going to leave that up to your honest selves. Okay, so brilliant. We move on to question number 4. We asked you, which county did Eccles cakes come from? Eccles cakes, not really something that we have up here. Maybe they're from the south, maybe they're from the north. They are actually from the northwest up in Lancashire. Eccles cakes from Lancashire. Now, that's just fact. Judge's word final. I'm not having any fights with the Yorkshireans or anybody else that may be on the call. Lancashire is the answer. Okay, number 5. We asked you what is sold at Billingsgate Market in London. And I nearly gave it away there when I said the question, because I nearly said, what is sold at Billingsgate Fish Market? It is, of course, fish sold at Billingsgate Market. Little facts about Billingsgate Market, if you, well, obviously once COVID's over, but if you go in the just as the market's closing, they've got a lovely little cafe in there where you can get, instead of a bacon roll, a scallop roll for £4 a go. Well worth a look. Anyway, question number 6. We asked you, as of 2013, which country is the largest producer of tea? So in 2013, or as of 2013, the country which is the largest producer of tea, well, that is China. As simple as that. All the tea in China. Okay, now, on number 7, we asked you to tell us which classic British dish was an anagram of hot toe inhaled. Hot toe inhaled. It is, of course, the absolute classic toad in the hole. Hot toe inhaled becomes toad in the hole. In number 8, we asked you, the wine region of Marlborough produces almost 3/4 of which country's wine? Well, it's not Marlborough in the UK, so I think we will say that that is New Zealand. And I'm sure that many of you got that right if you are wine drinkers here. I don't want to cast aspersions. Right, number 9. I've just realised I'm going to have to read number 10 shortly, and I didn't practice it as well as Gail. Number 9, what is the main ingredient for the German Blutwurst? Now, it's pretty much as it sounds in the name. The main ingredient for the German Blutwurst is blood. It'll be popular amongst black pudding lovers, maybe, but otherwise I'm sure there'll be some people on the call that will never touch that in their lives. Right, here we go. Pressure. Number 10. A Magnum holds 2 standard bottles of champagne. A Railbomb, that was awful already, holds 6. But how many bottles of champagne are in a Nurben? Nailed it. Anyway, the answer we wanted was 20. 20 bottles. That's incredible. Okay, so we now move on to the Christmas round. Okay. So we asked you, first of all, which company has for years used the holidays are coming to advertise its brand? It is, of course, that favourite, Coca-Cola. Perfect. Just very wary that my screen's going to go off in 4 minutes. I'm going to have to run off the camera in a minute. Okay, so then we asked you, question number 2, alphabetically, which of Santa's reindeer comes first? Now, when you put them in order, the first reindeer is Blitzen. Smooth, smooth, smooth. No one noticed. It's a good job I'm just a box in the corner. Blitzen was your alphabetical reindeer. Okay, so number 3, we asked you, who wrote Do They Know It's Christmas? And this is the first one where I'm probably going to get a few upset people. So just before I reveal the answer, I'm going to give you 10 seconds because one quick clue, it's not just one person. So if you had thought of a couple and maybe cross one out, just make sure it's uncrossed now because it was written by 2 people. And those 2 people were Bob Geldof and Midge. There we go. Need 2 names for the point. I'm not accepting one. They wrote it together. Obviously, Bob Geldof from the Boomtown Rats, Midge from Ultravox, Vienna, another country we can't visit, or another city we can't visit at the moment. Perfect. So in number 4, we asked you, in the novel A Christmas Carol, which is the first ghost to visit Scrooge? Now, this is an interesting one because just last week, if you tuned into the Hathern Together YouTube page, you would have seen a radio play interpretation of Scrooge that had been performed entirely over Zoom. And I had the honour of playing the first ghost that appears. And that is, of course, Mr. Jacob Marley. Jacob Marley is the first ghost that visits in the Christmas Carol. He comes to warn Scrooge that he'll be visited by 3 spirits, but he himself is a spirit. Okay. Then we moved on to number 5, which was which famous scientist who developed the 3 laws of motion was born on Christmas Day 1642? Probably a straightforward one if you're aware of those 3 laws of motion, but it was, of course, Sir Isaac Newton. I felt like I said that as I was going to introduce him to the stage. Please welcome to the stage, Sir Isaac Newton. It's not going to happen, guys. Number 6, round 4, number 6, we asked you how many drummers drummed. And of course, it was 12. 12 drummers drumming. So hopefully you got that one right there. Which of course means there were 24 drumsticks. That was not getting you any bonus points. Number 7, what is the name of the elf played by Will Ferrell in the film of the same name? Will Ferrell's elf character is Buddy. He's Buddy. He is Buddy. Buddy the elf. Interesting film that at the time wasn't really well received, but seems to have become a bit of a classic amongst people here. My favourite film's The Muppets Christmas Carol, and I won't listen to anybody who says otherwise. Laura. Anyway, we move on to number 8. Walking in the Air is taken from which Christmas film? Of course, a classic Alex Jones film, song even, The Snowman. Another one that appears every so often on Channel 4, I think it is, most Christmases, seeing as the BBC have taken all the Disney films. Brilliant. Okay, so we moved on to question number 9. Which country presents Britain with a Christmas tree each year? And every year in Trafalgar Square, we see a lovely tree presented by the country of Norway. Norway provide us with a Christmas tree every year. Okay. And then, of course, we had that terrible question from Dave Neville for anybody that doesn't live in Hathern or experience Hathern Band, but you know, it's well worth a look at. But Hathern Band is the oldest band in the Midlands. What year were they formed? Now, bearing in mind that we'll give you 5 either side, the year that you need to be within 5 of 1856. So we will give you anything between 1851 and 1861. There we go. It's as simple as that. Okay, so that was the answers to round 4. Hopefully you're all keeping up. I know answers when you're in a live quiz take quite a bit of time. I just wanted to make sure that we blitz through these so we can get your winner on screen tonight. So we move on to the final round, which was the music round. Now we had two sets of 5 questions here, really. So I'm going to ask you to give me the answers for these. But question 1, we played a little bit of music there which featured 2 artists. One was Christmassy, one was not. The most generic answer I need here is this. So I need you to have at least written the artists being Coldplay and Frozen. I don't need you to go into the detail of the actors that were in the film, but it was, of course, Do You Want to Build a Snowman from Frozen, and Yellow by Coldplay. So if you've got Coldplay, you get half a point. If you've got Frozen, you can have another half a point. Number 2, we played you another Christmas song teamed with an original song there. And the 2 artists I need for you to get the full point are Mariah Carey and 21 Pilots. Mariah Carey, of course, All I Want for Christmas went to number 1 for the first time this year. It's been in the charts for so many years. And 21 Pilots song Ride. I think that's about a year old now, but a really good song there as well. Half a point for each one you got there of the artists. Number 3, we played you a classic Christmas song, but one I think people often get the artist mixed up on. And then we gave you a song where she literally said her name. So we have the 2 answers I need. Paul McCartney and Jennifer Lopez. Paul McCartney, of course, singing Jenny from the Block, and Jennifer Lopez, that fantastic, wonderful Christmas time Christmas song. No, might be the other way around. Okay, so we then went into question 4, where I asked for 2 artists again, another classic Christmas song, and one song that I think could have some issues here, but just to confirm, it was Wham! Last Christmas, and the only answer I'll accept for the other half a point is The Police. It was not the Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, any kind of sampling. It was the original one from The Police, I'll Be Watching You. Or apparently I'll Be Watching You Last Christmas, which sort of fits. And finally, number 5, we gave you one Christmas-themed instrumental and an original song. So I was looking for, in that, Miley Cyrus and Tchaikovsky. The duet they said would never happen, but we're looking for Miley Cyrus and Tchaikovsky with Wrecking Ball and Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. Okay, so we then had 5 songs after that were played backwards. So let's have a look at the first one we played backwards. I think this was quite a popular song, obviously quite a controversial one as well. But the answer you needed was Fairy Tale of New York. If you've got Fairy Tale of New York, you can have the point. I know I said earlier in the quiz that you need to give me the artist. I think that might be a little bit too difficult. So just the song title here, Fairy Tale of New York, for the point. Okay, so question number 7. We were looking for, albeit backwards, I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day. That, of course, being by Wizard. Another sort of, actually doesn't live too far away from here, but Wizard, I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day. Then we played you a modern interpretation of a Christmas classic, but could you work out what Michael Bublé was singing? It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas for the point. Okay. Now, we move to question 9. Now, question 9, if we'd have kept the artist bit on here, that might have been a little bit tricky, but the song we were looking for here was and you need this in full, we need Merry Christmas, War is Over. Don't worry about the brackets, but you must have War is Over in there as well. I won't just accept Merry Christmas because you could have written that for all of them and maybe got half the points. So we're looking for Merry Christmas, brackets, War is Over, of course, by John Lennon. And then our final song of the round and our final question of the quiz was, of course, that absolute classic from the 70s. It was Slade's Merry Christmas Everybody. And it has to be Everybody. I won't accept Merry Christmas Everyone because that was by Paul McCartney. So it has to be Merry Christmas Everybody. I will accept Xmas or Christmas. They used Xmas in their titles. I'm not that picky. But there we go. That was 50 questions and 50 answers. So hopefully by now you're adding up a score. Now, I did say to you, what we intend to do now is give you a live winner. And of course, it will take a bit of time, but we have a process to do that. In a second, what you will see is a phone number on the screen. What you have to do is text your team name and your score to that phone number. You will have about 10 minutes to do that. Text those. There will be a prize for best team name. And of course, there will be a prize for the winner as well. And we will sort those out with you outside of the live stream. And all being well, try and get them to you before Christmas, unless you're playing in Devon, where it might be a little bit later. So let's hope that you've done maybe like second best, because it will save us a lot in stamps. But good luck, guys. Anyway, what we thought we'd do to fill that time is we're going to give you a little sneak peek of something that you may have seen if you're walking around the village recently. Hathern has been doing its Advent windows, and as of the 18th of December, all of the windows opened. However, on social media, we're releasing each window in order every day up to the 24th. And we thought it'd be really good if we shared you a little sneak peek of each window. So what we're going to do is show you that video, and then we will be back with you in about 10 minutes time. Once that video is finished, you will see our holding screen whilst we tally up the results, and then we'll be back with you for the finale of the Big Quiz 2020. So we'll see you in a few minutes. We're back. Believe it or not, you just all text your results in, and we did just manually process them all, count them all, and collate them into a very, very technical document called an iPad. Thank you very much for sticking with us. Hopefully you've really enjoyed what we've put together tonight for you. The great news is we will be back with another one in February as part of Hathern Village Association's annual general meeting. Now, you don't have to attend the AGM, but we will be doing a quiz event as a fundraiser for the HVA after that. Who knows, we might have some improvements to the set in that time as well. I'm hoping that by the next one we can actually have Dave Neville running down the stairs that were to my left and right and coming on and asking a question that way. You never know. Right, so the more important bit here, the results. First of all, a big thank you for all of you for some very creative names there. And obviously we don't know, because you've all just texted in anonymously, we have no idea who any of the names are. So that's been making it quite fun. We've looked at this one, and we're very pleased to say that our friends at Pick and Platter will be helping us deliver you a Christmas gift as the prize for best team name. Once we know exactly who's actually in the team, we'll sort that out for you. We have passed this through our independent adjudicator, and we would just like to say our favourite team name of the quiz tonight was Simply Hathern, A Wonderful Christmas Time. Simply Hathern, A Wonderful Christmas Time. We liked that one. It was a nice pun on Hathern. We will get in touch with you. We now have a number to message you on, so we will get in touch with you and arrange that. So well done, Simply Hathern, A Wonderful Christmas Time. Well worth some honourable mentions here, because very close behind that was, what do we have here? We had Elf on a Liquor Shelf. We really like that one. And No Zoom at the Inn as well. Really like that one. And just because you asked me to do so, you said make sure you shout this one. We are Smarticus! And I've just ruined all of your ears. Okay, so it's the bit that you were all waiting for. The results have been counted. They've been verified by nobody. The top 3 teams were within 2 points of each other. We had no tie at the top place, so we don't need to use our tiebreaker. But we do have a winner tonight. Now, it's been a long, hard process to make sure that you answered all those questions. And I was really pleased to see that there's lots of half points on there. So the music round was just as fiendish as previously. But one team here has dropped very few points on their way through. And if they'd have dropped just one more, they'd have been joint second. The winner. Oh, I feel like I'm on the X Factor. The winner of Hathern's Big Quiz 2020 is... Pause for effect. Hathern Noel-It-All! Well done, Hathern Noel-It-All. Your score of 45.5 points was the top score tonight, closely followed by Hathern Boomers with 44, and Simply Hathern, A Wonderful Christmas Time with 43.5. In fact, just over a quarter of you got into the 40s, so that is amazing. And there is nobody here below half mark. So well done, absolutely everybody, for joining in. Hathern Noel-It-All, we will be in touch with you to sort out a prize for you as well. Don't worry about contacting us. We will contact you and hopefully get you that prize before Christmas once we know who's there in your quiz team. So that's it. We have a winner. We've actually been able to do a live quiz over YouTube and name a winner all in one night. But it does just leave me to say a couple of thank yous for making all this happen. First of all, a thank you to all of our contributors, all of our guests that logged into Zoom tonight and had a chat with us. They are all genuinely Hathern residents from Hathern groups that do need a bit of promotion in this hard time as well, but they are all running virtually as well. And also a big thank you to my tech man behind the scenes, Lewis Fuller, who has done an absolutely incredible job building me this studio with his own bare hands and a mouse. And it's been really much appreciated. Thank you, Lewis. But most of all, of course, thank you to the one thing that made this happen. The government for keeping us in lock. No, sorry, you, the people. Thank you for logging in. Thank you for, I hope, enjoying it. If you want us to do one of these again, let us know. We'd love some feedback. Let us know about lengths, questions, difficulties, the lot. But I really hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a really nice, sort of solid, good couple of hours there. And even though I am obviously stood here in isolation myself, it felt like I was connected to you all with my senseless humour and my shout-outs from Tooting. So that leads me to say thank you very much for logging into the Big Winter Quiz. Remember, the Hathern Advent windows as part of Winter in Hathern are open until Christmas Day. Beyond that, please, whatever you're doing this Christmas Day, stay safe and have a wonderful Christmas. And we will see you in 2021. Goodbye.